Let's go.
Are they playing?
Could you
Eight
give
o'clock.
them, could you give them some of your A game?
I-
Could you share with them, please?
You know,
They can use a C
Let's
game,
start
never
with-
mind an A game.
you know, once the Giants somehow screwed up and beat you, I was like,
Oh, here we go.
that's the only game I ever root for the Patriots, because we
I
need a
should never
quarterback
have
too.
said a thing, which
did
is
you
my
do?
fault. I
What
said
did
give
you
some of the
do?
Oh, you said Patriots, and I
Yeah.
said give them some of your A game,
Yeah.
and then we're off.
I'll give them the C game and that's all they need.
Oh, the Steelers are not that bad,
Oh,
though.
here we go.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Crank it up.
Tim doesn't care.
All right, let's
what's
start
your-
what's your-
our meeting, so we
Speed
can,
round. Speed
You
meeting.
have that?
I'd like to call the Rocky Hill Town Plan Implementation Committee, the special meeting to order. It's the December 7, 2023. Public comments, anybody in the public who'd like to make any comments? I don't see any public comments. Action on the minutes.
Motion to approve minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Second.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion passes. Affordable Housing Committee.
I did.
Well, because I'm doing that job.
Sure.
too.
Oh no, Joanne? Is it Joanne or Eileen we have?
It's Eileen, Eileen's Eileen.
Is it Eileen?
I-
I don't know. One of the others.
Oh, affordable housing. There is a copy of it's a fillable application, it is online. We are not receiving a lot of applicants, just so you know. However, for outreach, I've contacted, Derek was nice enough to put something on the Facebook as well. We did send hard copies over to the Housing Authority, and they were handed out to each resident there. We did send information over to the guidance office, and copies and flyers and copies of the plan as well, to the
At
guidance
school.
office at the high school. Yeah, it would be nice if we could get a high school student, like they have on Innovation and Equity Board as well. I also received.
Can you, like, while you were talking, it just crossed my mind, maybe what we do is, do you want to resend it again and say, hey, kids or students, if you want to be part of it, it's one thing, but please pass on to your parents, see if they are interested. So maybe by that way, we can reach more, larger audience.
They still send home packets or something, or flyers?
Well, this went to the guy, what they do is they put things like that in the guidance office. And, yeah, so I don't know about that, but I'm gonna reach back out to the
I think
guidance
that would be
office
good
to
idea,
find
like
out.
maybe. we
To find
reach,
out. Yeah.
Kim, does the town have some way of connecting to every household?
Not really. We have the reverse
No.
911.
Unless
That's-
911,
Yeah, that's like
Yeah.
emergency
That's-
stuff.
Too much,
I
yeah.
have a problem with using that for that.
Emergency,
Yeah.
I'm gonna find
emergency
it.
appointments.
Well,
Thing.
yes, but that's sort of part of the whole appointment process, right?
Yeah.
So I was, if the town could broaden their appointment process and send out to every household,
Yeah.
we have these appointments to fill.
It'd have to be mailed.
Okay. Yeah, and
have
that,
to
that
do that.
goes beyond us, but
Can't
that
even
can be
just drop 'em in the-
suggested to those
Yeah.
that have that power to do so.
Yeah, and the Affordable Housing Committee could be one
Yeah.
of a list of other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a big database who sign up for like meeting minutes and stuff like that? Like, how we get all our stuff with
I don't,
email?
that's an IT thing, that hasn't been
Even if
asked,
it's
but we can
just
ask.
generic
Yeah,
databases?
that's another
just
We can
one.
ask,
Forward
just
on
to
da-
say,
just forward 'em to
just to say,
databases.
click,
Yep.
here you go.
It's in the rare reminder.
You're better
right?
off doing electronically and instead of mail stuff, because it's.
Oh, yeah, if you can do it electronically.
Yeah, because that would be easier, so we'll see that.
Everybody gets a rare reminder.
Yeah.
Yep.
I did get permission to talk to Councilman Prakash, and I did talk to Dimple Desai about reaching out to the Indian population, because we do have a large Indian population in town, and it would be nice to have a diverse group. That's why we're trying to get different ages, genders,
Backgrounds.
ethnicity, sorry. The outreach is happening. I'm gonna talk to Mary Hogan. I have a thing set up for talking to Mary Hogan in the library about putting something over there as well. She's retiring, just to let
Yep,
people know.
yep.
She's retiring?
She's
Yep.
retiring.
When?
The end of,
She already sold her place.
yeah,
Whoa,
Yeah.
when?
I think this month.
This month?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the end of
Where
the
is
year.
she moving to?
We don't know.
I just saw the transaction in the paper.
Just so you know.
Oh, jeez.
Thank you.
Get a
Yeah.
party
She's
or
out
something.
there.
Devastated
Get a
walking
party
in.
for her or
So
I don't
you
know, I haven't seen it.
Retired,
I
so.
mean, she's out
And
the
then she
door.
made the announcements, it's been
Yeah.
made, so I'm not letting the cat out of the bag here, so. Library, and then I'm also gonna get it over to Gina and talk with her today, so I'll get that to her tomorrow for the, community center.
Yep.
Making sure that, I mean, we do have members in the community center that are from out of town, but we will be screening by address, so it has to be Rocky Hill people, so. Anybody has any ideas, please contact me, okay?
Kim, is it, who will be making the choice of the affordable housing members?
The council.
So
They come
all of
to
those
me.
applications are gonna go to you?
They come to me,
and
I,
then it
re-
will-
I'm redacting the identifying trends.
And then it will
I'm
go
gonna
to-
have the originals, but
Right.
those redacted forms will go to the council.
And the council will, do
Review.
you think they would choose one person, or all of them will get that the same? Or will they make a committee, do you know?
That I don't know. I assume it would be the entire council would get
Okay.
them. That's what I would think it should be. But, so that's where we're at with that.
Can I ask one other thing, one more
Sure.
thing about the affordable housing? There's an administrator that needs to be chosen, and I wonder if that's gonna be a staff person, or if that's gonna be, or perhaps the Affordable Housing Committee has to choose that.
I would say so, yes.
I mean, they would develop like bylaws and all that, right? It's so
Well, the
probably.
bylaws will probably end up following
The others.
stereotypical.
Everybody else's.
Right,
Yeah.
Your stereotypical,
yep,
Don't say welcome to
But-
Raleigh with the town council elections, though.
but this
You
is
hear
set up
that?
more like the Commission on Inclusion and Innovation.
Mhm.
Nowhere in here do they have a party affiliation, so.
okay.
That's a step in the right direction.
Yes, it is.
Sustainable Connecticut Rocky Hill Task Force, okay.
Sure. So pretty quick update from me on in terms of affordable housing. As you all know, simply by making the commission, the town advances towards silver. And if and when the commission is formed and they start recommending policies, and you get points both for just implementing policies and for measured progress. So I think for every 1/4 percentage point increase or increase of 50 affordable units, 10 points get awarded up to a maximum of 40 points. So keep that in mind. Once the commission gets made, then that is an additional driver for the town to go towards silver.
Can they go retro, or it could be?
I think you have a baseline
Okay.
at the point of applying, and then you're measured from going up there.
Okay,
But I don't think
because-
they'll take away points if we dip down.
Does the affordable housing units, they have to actually be up and running and
I'd have to check the documentation. but I
You're
think so.
you're talking about the Connecticut Appeals List numbers?
No.
I am saying, according to the sustainable CT framework, like there's some sort of measurement for
Broad silver
the number
gold.
of units, and we get to define
Yeah,
that
that's a
metric.
Connecticut Appeals List.
Okay.
So if we go up, every quarter of a point that we go up, we get
oh,
5 points or 10 points.
Yep.
So there is a
To a certain max.
formula, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's based,
It's a formula, and it just gives us.
Yeah. And so the takeaway is that like you get points not just for it growing, but actually in implementing policies. Like the
Yeah,
policies,
right.
as long as you're trying, and you're like, wow, we've developed a new housing complex, or we changed coding laws, or we, created a program to advance accessory dwelling units.
But is that for appeals list, or is that for something else? Because you mentioned silver.
That is a
something.
great, yeah. So silver in sustainable CT.
So these points are towards that, probably.
Yes.
Okay,
So
so
sorry,
that's
I'm
different than appeals.
So I'll have to look at exactly how it's calculated. My understanding is at the beginning of the process you set a baseline, and it might be the appeals list. I don't know.
yes, that's what it is.
Okay.
And it
yes.
goes back 5 years.
Yeah. So we could say the baseline is 2023, when the Affordable Housing Committee was formed, and then we go from there. So additional points are available in 2024 when the numbers come out again.
So I think we'll have to maybe just find out and confirm, like, is that approval of affordable units, or is that CO and construction and CO?
I can look into that for you.
You know,
Yeah.
because we have approved 3 to
Yeah.
4 projects, and we would like to take that opportunity,
Ah.
but they're not in construction yet,
Yeah,
other than
I gotta think it's people
But they
actually
wouldn't
living
go on the
there.
record until we get CO on
Yeah,
them.
CO, they
Yeah.
can live in there.
They don't
you
go
know,
on the
that's right.
record, we
Yeah.
get them as a condition,
Yeah.
but they don't go on the record
Yeah.
until they're actually,
Right.
all the paperwork, the lawyer, the legal
Yeah.
part of it is done,
Yeah.
right?
So what I'm saying is,
So we
I
have an
think
advantage.
that should be whether it's been approved for affordable or constructed
I
and got
think
CO
we can-
or whatever.
I personally think it's gonna be constructed.
Yeah, they're not gonna be
Because it could be
recorded.
vaporware for 10 years.
Yeah,
Once they're recorded,
Oh, driving me
then,
nuts.
then it goes to the Connecticut
Right.
appeals list. And
Yes.
that's what he's talking, that's
Yes.
what we're
Okay.
talking
You're,
about now.
you're right.
okay.
Yep.
So
So that'll be the
Connecticut
number.
appeals list, with our 5-year look back is to 2018 right now, because the last one was 2022. I have it right here, I have all
Yep.
the years.
Yep.
And, we were at 5.09, now we're at 4.9.
Now we went down.
4.9, but we have 0 deed restricted housing.
Right
And
now.
that's when these come online, then we'll have some deed restricted housing.
Right.
So anyway, it's not something we need to worry about right now.
Yep.
I think you're right to be focusing on staffing the committee, and that's the next step. But you should know that the work that y'all are doing is valuable for the town in this respect.
You're part of it.
I don't know if I should ask this when we get to number 9, or we ask it now. So, I don't think you guys need to tell me, Sustainable Rocky Hill is not in our POCD. It's going in our POCD. So what do we have to look toward?
No, it's not.
Creating a sustainability committee was in our POC.
Right, so then now we did it. So are we having like a section, are we having a page, are we having just what we did there? You know what I mean? How do we get it into the POCD outside of just a one line that says we wanted to do a committee?
Okay, well, we'll be,
I know, we're getting there, that's why I said here or here, because now that we have it, and now that we have affordable housing, how do we integrate them? Because that's what the
Yep.
the PIC is about. How do we integrate these things into the plan?
Yep.
We can talk ad nauseam about them, but they're no good until we get into the plan.
So I have an incomplete look at that, but I know of some things that sustainability is touching that feed into the POCD. So number 7 is this community resiliency workshop that's been facilitated by the Nature Conservancy. It basically helps the town to identify the strengths and weaknesses that happen with changing climates and increasing flooding and greater heat days and things like that. And there are recommendations out of that that are supposed to theoretically get fed into the POCD and like update the hazard mitigation plans and things like that. So sustainability might not be showing up under the header of sustainability. It might just be feeding into other existing
Other
processes.
categories, we sprinkle it in.
Yeah.
I think that's more
Yeah, we'll have to.
an overall factor to it versus just having a section but it doesn't touch any other section, because it seems like you want to touch a lot of seems like you're going to be touching a lot of sections in our POCD. Let it touch all those sections
Yep.
rather than just have a section.
Right. It's more practical that way.
So that, town facilities.
Oh, and I'm sorry,
Oh,
just to
okay,
make
okay.
one last quick update. So, just so you all know, the people who might be representing Sustainable CT or the Sustainable Rocky Hill Task Force are going to be changing. The town council adopted bylaws for the task force, and the way that they structured it, the new task force is going to start in 2024 with 2-year terms. So town council is going to appoint a whole new slate. I know some members of the task force are reapplying. There's going to be some new faces. Anyway, so there will be more people showing up at this meeting.
Okay.
and
That
see,
is-
that's what's kind of different, because this committee, under the POCD, is appointed by P&Z. So that's why we look for people from different commissions and boards and residents.
And it's identified in the
Yeah,
POCD.
so
who the members.
This is not appointed by the council,
Planning and zoning appoints?
people on for this.
This.
So
Well, not
POCD
necessarily
has.
people,
Right.
but for example, we wanted someone from Parks and Rec,
Correct.
okay? We
Like-
wanted something.
But then
someone
our
from wetlands.
commission appoints, like I was
Yes.
not appointed by P and Z, I was
Right.
appointed
No.
by the Wetlands
Yes.
Commission.
It's
So
the
I-
P and Z
we-
say, we want this commission,
we
we want that, we want
contact
this,
the
we want this,
commission
we want
and
this.
then
send you
they
someone.
You want a rep from
Yeah.
these groups.
Yeah.
We don't care if it's the chairman or the, whatever.
And then, members from the public, and then, but we'll be talking about that too, tonight, about
Yep.
people that.
A lot of foreshadowing right now.
Isn't that
Tune
good?
in next
That's
time.
a
A
big
lot of
word.
planning.
Looking forward to go
A lot of
backwards.
planning is going on.
So that is,
That's deep.
Thank you.
Mike Socrates over here.
All right, your game, your
That's it.
town facilities.
Once again, part of the POCD, what we've had in place and what we will have in place in the future is, I wanna kind of reach out to our town facilities director. And when I say town facilities director, I'm talking not only town of Rocky Hill, but I'm talking Board of Ed, because I'm one of those few that think of us all as one. And we are, so it would be both the facilities personnel for BOE and the town to find out where their plans are, what they're looking for, because that needs to be incorporated in not only the plan of conservation development, but the capital improvements program, which is all part of this as well. So
All intertwined.
it is, it truly is.
In the budget, like, is that, does town side budget fund any activities on the school side?
Well, yes. Parking
Yes.
lots, sidewalks, all the infrastructure, the big infrastructure falls to Public Works. I don't know how that became, but it did, so, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, if you're gonna have facilities, they should just do it all, in my feeling, but, yeah, so we just did West Hill last year, we did,
At the parking lot?
I forgot
Okay.
which school we did last year. So, yeah.
Okay.
But for example,
Draw them now.
if there's a need, say the Board of Ed has a need for some sort of facility or ball fields or school or
Right,
whatever.
then they go to
Then-
park
then-
and rec.
Yeah, but it would have to, in POCD, it makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then tie that in, because capital improvements programming truly does tie into the POCD, and that's
Yeah.
something they're gonna be getting into going forward, which is kind of nice.
Mhm.
So that's what that's about.
All right, 7, we touched upon a little bit.
Well, that's, and there's something in your packet that, yeah, it's basically like an introduction to what that type of thing is, and I think Garrett would probably, because I know you were talking about community resilience.
Yes.
program, and so I just put this in the packet just as kind of like an FYI. There's a core team that is been designated at the town staff level.
It's like,
Jason,
it's me,
Derek.
Renstrom,
myself, Steve, Mike Gerhe.
Garrett, he's on it, yeah. Chief?
So, the Garrett, yeah.
No,
Ren's-
police chief?
uh,
Joe?
Yeah, Director of Public Works, so there's a core team, and then from there, we're gonna branch out with workshops. It's kind of an exciting kind of process to think outside the box and get other people's takes on the town and where they see things, and
Do we have one public member on that?
not with a core team,
I thought we had one public member that was here.
not in that room.
Just a guy I didn't know.
Jason Scott, I think, is taking the lead
he is.
on
And-
that.
And I think there's a bit of paperwork that we need to put forward to TNC, a survey about the town. I think I took a quick look at that, and Jason might be sharing some documentation. You got it?
I haven't, he handed it to me at the end of the day.
Great.
And he says, could you just take a quick look and see what you think?
Yep.
And write on it, and then, because it has to be, this community resilience survey has to come from that core team as a whole. So we're all gonna kind of pass it around and do our input and see what we come up with. And the core team has to pass it back to, I assume, the Nature Conservancy.
That's right. And then after that initial process is done, my understanding is that there's a, an awareness raising for the workshop that's gonna happen in February, March.
Yes.
And we're trying to get members of the public, people who are part of large employers in town, people who are impacted by climate in different ways. So I imagine farmers are going to be critical to have represented, and a bunch of people getting together to participate in several hours of workshop.
Okay.
Yeah. It's fun.
But the results of that will be brought to planning and zoning also for inclusion in the POCD.
Yep.
So that kind of, it's gonna make a difference, and I think if you go to, Norwalk had done this, and that was the example that was kind of forwarded on to me also, so I can send at least our two P and Z members, that link to that, so you can take a look at that.
Yep.
Or I'll send it out to everybody, just, I know, you probably know it by heart, but I will, I'll send it out to everybody, so they can. See what type of information we'll get back.
Thank you on that. Any other business? We have Complete Streets Annual Report.
I put the policy in again, just as an FYI, but per the policy, we have to do an annual report, and granted, we kind of missed the boat in November, but I think it's a better time to do it, say, okay, either the end of the year or the beginning of the year, calendar year, so I'm thinking, January, that we have a report to the council, and it's basically on the performance measures in section 7, as far as funding, any funding sources for future projects, sidewalks, streets, what have been done as far as ADA improvements, bus stops, looking at bike lanes, which
We
had
did,
been, which had been done a little bit. And granted, this is year 1, so it may not be as involved, but in the future, it will be.
We put in signs, right? I think we put a couple of signs.
So it's gonna have to be signs, cause when we went out to lay out
Yep.
the
The lanes.
lanes,
Yeah.
it made the driving lane too narrow in
Too
some
narrow.
spots.
Okay.
You go measure one spot, it's 30 feet, you go up here, it's 30 feet, then you go
Shrinks.
up, and it's all of a
Yep.
sudden, it's like 28, 28, 20. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Steve, I'd heard maybe there was gonna be a mix of different methods depending on the width. Are we thinking like universally signs at this point?
Probably,
Yeah, okay.
yeah. This is just, it's not gonna work out, or we're gonna have your 11-foot lane, which we need, and then all of a sudden you're gonna have 4-foot, whoop, you're gonna taper down to 2 and then go back out to 4 or something. That's kind of,
That's what Weathersfield does, just have signs.
yeah. I was gonna say, most
Very-
towns only have
very
signs.
signs,
Very
yeah.
few towns actually have, it's mostly the cities. Look at Glastonbury has an extensive map on their website, and it's just signs, there's hardly anything painted on the ground. Cause I went driving around these towns and looked online, on the aerials too, found not much.
Yep.
In the back, Victor had sent me something back at the end of October about lighting pics from Newington, so that's in the packet.
I don't know what that was.
Once the signs go in, there may be a way for the town to apply for bronze status with the League of American Bicyclists. They say, and this advances us in the sustainable CT framework. So like once there's a certain amount of biking infrastructure, including bike racks and things of that nature, we can document it and apply.
Yeah.
I mean, we can, as part of the report, talk about the bike racks that we are requiring from our developments and all that
Which is
stuff.
what we're doing.
Yeah.
with-
Which is
Yeah, it
part
goes in the
of,
report, yeah.
so all those things are being implemented. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not just we're talking, but when developments come at P and Z,
They're
we
asking
require
them.
them, we ask them, do you have a bike rack, we have this, we have that.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah, so, I think those all things can be talked about. Now, on the timing, I said, you were saying January, so would the report be prepared end of December and then presented in January? And, and the
That's
reason
my-
I'm,
Well, I mean, we're gonna do it, so.
okay, so again,
It should be probably before budget, I would think.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which will be probably February. We always get off on a late start on that.
The reason I was asking, like, so there is no impact of the commission, P and Z commission
Mhm.
members and stuff like that, right? It's just the staff is doing that work?
Yeah.
Okay, because every 2 years
Yeah,
we change,
Yeah.
so
yeah.
in January,
Yeah.
there's a new commission and they have a
Right, right,
president.
right,
So I
right.
just
No,
want to
I-
make sure it's not.
Yeah,
the
I
case.
don't know when, appointments will be. Typically, it is in January. I know they, at 1 year, they were
Sometimes it was
late.
February, yeah.
1 year, they were late and went into February, and it caused a little bit of confusion, but everybody serves until such time as the appointments are made, so I'll find out
Okay.
when those dates.
As far as there is no effect of the appointment, that's, I'm fine.
No. I'm just letting you know, there's an FYI there.
Committee membership suggestions.
I keep bringing it up. I gotta bring it up again. We need to keep in mind, the POCD update is gonna be starting up in.
Soon.
Yeah, so with the RFP and getting going on that, so, membership here has been kind of, the core people are here. The core people that came are the people that are here now. We do need to branch out. We do need to deal with possibly the Chamber of Commerce, getting someone here from the Economic Development Commission.
Yeah.
Do you think the best
Somebody
way to
from-
do that is invite them in like we did the affordable housing and bring them in that way, so they can just be a focused talk during a meeting versus having everybody around a table and getting, to be honest with you, nothing done, versus having a focus meeting and just saying, okay, Chamber of Commerce, you're gonna show up to February 7th.
But we still
Um,
need a group, a core
Group of
group
people, yeah.
to be the committee. And granted, that committee is appointed by planning and zoning, so it's really more of a Victor Dimple type question as to who will be those core
Core group.
people. And I don't mean the people, I mean representatives
Yeah.
of an agency or a board or a business community or a grassroots organization, that type of thing.
Does it make sense then, to actually come up with a list?
Yeah,
And then we can, you know,
Correct.
And it will
whether
happen
we have a
after the
hierarchy or whether we
appointments.
have a whatever, just not actually come up with a list and then we can figure out how to get them.
yeah.
Because we can just say, oh, we need this, why don't we just all put our thoughts together and actually just literally come up with a list and then we see if it works. If it's too many people versus, it's, you know,
So
it's not
what
enough
we-
or
Well, like to
whatever.
your point, maybe you can focus on, yeah, you're part of this committee, you're welcome to attend, but
Yeah.
your subject's not gonna be on tonight, but when your subject's on, you know, like
I
the
think
business
what-
community or whatever,
what
get
Kim-
different
Yeah.
groups.
What Kim is looking for is a core committee, and per POCD, it says the PIC should include representatives of the key town boards and commissions. While PIC is referred to as a committee, it is intended to be more as working group and stuff. So, town boards and commissions, right? And then you have plan implementation committee, like, you know, who implements the POCD? And if the leader is P and Z, partner is town committee. So you have a list of that.
Mhm.
So I think we'll have to, when we draft this POCD, we should look at it and see if there is a way of expanding that and put those things here so that it's part of POCD. So there will be a core group. And after core group, you can always invite whoever to provide the input.
Like we did
So-
with the housing authority.
Right.
like we did with-
Or as Victor is saying, you know, chamber or whatever, you know, so they're very specific, they don't get bogged down 2 hours in a meeting.
It doesn't have any
you know,
language in there for public groups like the Historical Society or the Chamber or the Cub Scouts or the Girl Scouts or, you know, there's no language in there for that?
So, let me just, I'll just read the whole plan implementation. The plan of conservation development should be a working document used to identify desirable policies and action steps for the community. As implementation proceeds, it is normal and expected that policies and action steps will be refined and new action steps identified. It should be understood that implementation of the plan will be a gradual and continual process with some recommendations should and will be carried out in a relatively short period of time. Others may be long-term in nature. Further, since some recommendations will involve additional study or a committee or commitment of fiscal resources, Their implementation will take over several years or occurs in stages. If the plan is to be successfully realized, there should be an organization established to coordinate implementation of the plan among the many different agencies and organizations with some responsibility for implementation. The plan recommends a plan implementation committee be organized and meet on a regular basis, perhaps quarterly, to coordinate implementation of plan recommendations, assess the status of specific recommendations, evaluate the priorities, and even suggest new implementation techniques. The PIC should include representatives of the key town boards and commissions. While the PIC is referred to as a committee, it is intended that this be more of a modest working group focused on coordinating efforts and achieving results than a formal entity with board membership or other responsibilities. And then it has the policies: implement the POCD, conduct regular meetings of all boards, commissions in order to find ways to enhance intra-municipal coordination, and all that stuff. And then, who the leader is, and so leader, I
I agree with you, though. I think that that language should be changed to include public entities.
Yep.
It could be general,
yeah.
and so.
I think we can say, and other public organizations or something like that, so that covers,
Civic.
civic
Civic.
or whatever,
Civic.
yeah.
Is a good, probably a good word for it.
So I think.
But right now, it's town boards and commissions, so
Yeah.
to your point, all you gotta do is get the town boards and commissions, make a list.
And-
That's it, one person from each.
And I think that was what we had done initially, like we had economic development, we had parking, Parks and Rec,
Parks and Rec.
we had, P&Z, wetlands, right?
Yep.
I mean, that was
Yeah.
the group,
Yeah, we have Bob,
Bob
Craig.
and everybody attended.
Bob's retired, Craig, we haven't
And then
seen him
human
ever.
resources, Melissa was there.
So,
Yeah,
Human
Melissa.
services, I mean.
Yeah, Melissa was here.
Those killer Zoom calls we have.
all right, so yes, I think we'll have to work on that. When we, whoever the consultant is, and when we work on POCD, I want to make sure we don't forget this.
But you also have January to come up. That January is coming, and you're gonna have all brand-new boards and commissions. So I think somehow they need to get the message that it is understood that there's one representative from each board and commission that's gonna be a member of this committee.
But we can't
Is
do
that
that
correct?
yet. Yep, can't do that yet, till we know who they are.
Yeah, but I think we can
We
work
can't-
on
we-
that.
yeah.
and
But that's
we'll-
understood, right?
Yes.
Sort of understood.
That
Yep.
would go to the council and get trickled down that way. And then when I find out who the boards are, then it goes back out to.
So I think maybe, Kim, what we do, to your point, is maybe we draft a letter from P&Z and send it to council, so that council can talk about it, say, hey, you assign staff. So,
Right, yeah, the council communicates to the boards and commissions, and it's understood this is
Yeah.
what happens.
because I think, to your point, like, if staff has to come, like economic staff, or we don't have that, but Park and Rec or wetlands or whatever, if it comes from council and says you have to choose one to represent somebody on
Yeah.
this committee.
Yeah.
We never had a Board of Ed member here.
No,
That's a board, right?
big.
Yeah.
One half the
That's
town budget.
And they should.
Quite missing, that's a lot missing there,
Right.
isn't
Yes,
it?
it is.
Huge.
All right, so,
Right.
moving on to 9, that's a huge one.
Well, part of the.
We're
Everything
covering
is-
it the whole meeting.
You're gonna do it all now, it's amazing.
So, when you draft RFP, right, what I want to do is have some of these topics covered, because these are new topics, right? This is 10 years old, we haven't talked about all this is coming up, so maybe we touch base and say, we would like to address this into our POC.
How to integrate.
Sorry,
And,
real quick,
Yeah.
RFP is request for
Request for
proposal?
proposal.
Yes.
Okay. Who are we proposing to?
We're
We have to
requesting-
ask for one.
We're asking that consultants give us a proposal.
Okay.
So it would be an advertisement
Yeah.
saying we are seeking consultants, planning consultants who can draft our
Would help
POC.
drafting.
Yeah, so.
But now we do have a limited amount,
Yep.
and that,
Yep.
that should be in there as well.
Yes, yes.
Because they need to know, and they have to provide us a scope of services
Yep.
based upon that amount.
Yep.
We also talked about trying to engage, like we did for Strasser Farm, Yukon or someone as part of their capstone or something that they could help with this.
Yeah, Yukon as well as
Whoever has the
Krog,
land,
Yeah.
land,
Yeah.
whatever.
Krog can help.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because
I
we
mean,
don't
they're
have to-
doing it at Strasser right now, and I think they
Yeah.
did a good job, or at least, so.
And with CRAG, we don't have to reinvent certain things because they have done a lot of studies. I think, how many municipalities, 19 or something? I don't know.
Krog has
Krog.
41, I think.
Aren't
now.
they doing their
41?
POCD right now?
They're doing
Krog?
the regional.
CRAG is doing regional
yeah.
plan, yes,
Yeah.
yes. So
Yeah.
what we can do is we can start asking them and so that they focus a little bit on Rocky Hill
Yeah.
and then we can take that and put it in here. So
Or at
that-
least their structure,
Yeah,
what their structure is, and then
Yeah.
we can hyper-focus it on Rocky Hill.
so
Well,
that
that's
will.
part of it, this community resiliency workshops, that result will be part of it as well.
Because with limited funds, I think we'll have to look at outside as well. I mean, I think before it was just staff doing it, remember? So
The last
very
time
much.
that we had a big budget for it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
50
Double.
grand?
Yep,
Double.
Yeah, 50 grand. For that one. Yeah, we had a lot of money for that one.
5-0?
I think it was 5
It was the color printing, that's why.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I mean, I think now
Couldn't
we'll
print it
just
in-house.
Put everything online. There's no
Yeah.
need to print stuff. It costs money. Printing
Yeah.
color.
But I saw on social media that they are having a contest about
Yes,
pictures and stuff.
pictures.
I thought that was a really good concept. We
Yeah.
tried to do it as part of ours,
Yes.
but we didn't offer any money. But, I think we relied more on planometrics to get those pictures. Maybe it's an opportunity for,
Yep.
as part of when we start doing our workshops, hey, submit some pictures and.
No, I mean, we did
Or at least
charrette,
create a
remember?
database.
We did charrette in middle
GMS,
school, I
yeah.
think,
Yep,
and invited all the public and the
It was fairly
consultant did all that,
well
Yeah.
so.
it was fairly well
Well, you
researched.
guys been on
Stickies
this
and
commission a
stuff
long time.
and everything,
That's good,
huh?
that's good,
You guys been on that planning and zoning a long time, huh?
Yeah.
that's good.
That was 2015, correct?
yeah, it was stretched
20,
into.
yeah.
15,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's probably in 14 we're starting it,
So
yeah.
it's gotta be done by 2025?
Yeah,
By
Yeah.
2025
it's-
or?
it's-
End of next year,
End of-
end of next year.
end of, yeah.
So,
Okay.
it's in the binding.
So,
Yeah, we're not reinventing the wheel on this one, it's an update, like Kim said.
it's an update,
Yeah.
but we want to include latest things in
Yeah,
there.
yeah, absolutely.
And make sure what we did is
Correct,
also,
Check.
we did do a
Yeah.
lot of stuff in there.
yes,
And a credit to this committee that we actually formed, that,
Yeah.
and we're actually, hammering out some stuff, so.
Yep.
It
and,
took
I
us a while to
mean,
get rolling, but
Well,
we're rolling now.
the other thing is, we also made a lot of changes in our regulations. P and Z regulations related to the latest stuff that's going on, so, on basis of POCD, so it's, again, this POCD is a working document, it's not like
Yeah.
what is in here, that's it. Okay,
Everybody uses it though. Every lawyer that presents at the hearings.
but we,
Yeah.
It's in the
That's good.
POCD!
It
It's
says
about
put a
damn
road
time.
through the wetlands, see?
but we use it too, we say,
Everybody,
hey,
yeah.
it says this, so you have it
It's an
here.
important document.
Yeah, you look at some old ones and where they had roads going, it's like, really?
So what is the schedule, Kim? What are we thinking for RFP, like?
Well, I'm gonna get you a draft in January.
A draft RFP?
Okay.
And I don't know that we're having a December meeting, but I'll talk to you
Yep,
after the meeting
okay.
about that.
For me, or what, a plan, so
No apps.
All right,
we can have apps though.
any final
Passwords.
comments? If not, we'll go to number 10.
Motion adjourned.
Hold on.
Do you have meeting dates in
Oh,
May?
Meeting dates.
Meeting dates,
Meeting dates
yes.
How we approve that as part of consent agenda?
or consent agenda.
Not even on
It
here.
It's
was
not even
meeting
on
minutes.
there.
Yeah,
It's
see?
not even on there, but.
You're gonna have to
I
make a
can-
motion to put it on.
No, they're on here.
We're a working
It's a
group.
list.
It's new business.
No, on the
Oh,
agenda?
that.
It's It's not on.
Motion to approve the
just-
meeting
I
dates
would
of 2024.
Second.
I would second
All in
that.
favor?
I would just walk it across. the
Aye,
line.
opposed,
Motion.
motion
That's what I
passes.
would do.
And Ed seconded.
That's what I would do.
I motion.
Now you can go to item 10. Yeah.
Now we can go to item 10. All, we are all set?
So
Kim?
moved.
Kim, you all moved?
Oh, great.
Motion
All
to
right.
adjourn.
All right, all in favor?